Welcome back, everybody. This is Weeknights, and I'm here with.
I'm Dashing D, aka Dash.
Oh, that's it?
Yep.
All right. Keeping it short today. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm JD, aka He Who Pots. Let's start with love.
Okay.
So, Lenny Kravitz got his Hollywood Walk of Fame, and, some people spoke. One of the people that spoke is his longtime friend, Denzel Washington. And hopefully you could hear this. Yesterday, you couldn't hear Miss Westy. So hopefully you could hear this. I like to play a little bit of what Denzel said. I thought it was cool. More than a friend. Did you hear that? We're twins, or look alike. Close brothership, friendship. Well, blessed with unbelievable talent, more so an unbelievable heart. And when one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual relations. Lord.
And it was at that very moment that I said niggas. Niggas just like us.
You know what I'm saying? He said, Boone. That's a nice Boone coon. All right, yeah.
They in unison.
Right.
And I said, yep. Because when
Love
niggas
it.
link up,
Love it. I
that
thought
fit,
that was great.
that felt
Oh, go
very
ahead.
much
You
like
first.
real friendship.
Right.
Didn't know that they were friends. I just learned today that they were friends. I had
Oh,
no
yeah?
idea. Yeah, I didn't know that they were good friends. So that's interesting. But yeah, it felt very genuine,
Absolutely.
very honest, and um, I want to see stuff like that sometimes because the fuck shit we got to talk about later on is annoying, but this right here is something that we can get excited about. Two men celebrating each other,
Right.
laughing together, and celebrating one of their wins. And two legends. Um, you know,
Absolutely.
they're. I think it's cute too. The friendship that they have between and that's why I say it seemed authentic because you could see the chemistry between the two of
Oh,
them.
great.
Like
Yeah, that was great.
it seemed so organic. Like
He said usually uh usually non-sexual, and they looked at him and said, well, that's the type of shit you only gonna joke about with your friend.
with your friends, yeah. So
Yeah,
it
you're
was
not gonna go to a stranger and insinuate that you might have had a sexual relationship.
right,
Not
exactly.
gonna do that.
So no, I thought that was really nice. I saw also a picture of the two of them and Zoe, so I thought that was nice. And I was like, oh, you should probably call him Uncle Denzel. And I think
Probably, yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
cute.
And
Uh,
something I learned just today, where yesterday you schooled me about a relationship. Looking up this stuff, I learned about another relationship today.
which one?
Apparently, Zoe Kravitz's fiance is Channing Tatum.
Yep.
Never knew that. Maybe Uncle Denzel could give him some acting lessons.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah. Anyway,
Whenever I hear Channing Tatum, I think of the SNL skit. Do you know that SNL skit?
I do
When
not.
they say I'm gonna Channing all over your Tatum?
Oh, no, I did not know that one.
Yeah, it exists.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Channing all over your Tatum.
Oh, it's a song.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
wow.
they do that music video series.
Yep.
That was one of the
Is
songs.
it Lonely Island or something like that?
Oh, I don't even know.
Oh, that's all right.
But
Justin Timberlake used to do it with one of them, no?
Yeah. Yeah. They've done it a lot over the years, but
Hmm.
I think I guess when Channing Tatum was on, or maybe he wasn't on, I don't know. But if you look up Channing all over your Tatum, you'll find it.
I'm sure it'll pop right up.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yep. I actually learned about Lenny and Denzel's friendship way back in like 2002 or 2003.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Wait, was it that far back? No, it was like Blueprint 2. Whenever Blueprint 2 came out,
Hmm.
uh, Blueprint 2, I guess that was 2002. Yeah, something like 2002. Anyway, Denzel was on 106 in Park doing promo for some movie, and they asked him about does he know anything about Jay-Z and the upcoming album because they know he's friends with Lenny Kravitz. And he said, "Oh yeah, I was actually in the studio very recently with my good friend Lenny Kravitz, and they have a song together. Lenny let me hear some of the stuff they're working on. Man, that stuff is, whew, I believe the kids say fire." And that's what I learned about it. I was like, "Oh, that's random, but really cool." And yeah, that song came out on Blueprint too. So something
Oh.
like that.
Yep. I did not know about that, but yep, Blueprint 2 makes sense. But wow,
Yeah.
interesting. Of course, your recollection of their friendship would be rooted in some sort of Jay-Z reference.
In the whole of it all, you feel what I'm saying? In the Jay-Z universe.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I thought this was great. I thought this was great to see that genuine friendship and joking around, and we see a lot of times our legends beefing, but we
Uh-huh.
get to see our legends, coexisting, friends, flourishing, hugging, and that's a beautiful thing for us to see. What was that?
I said embracing one another. Yep.
Right, embracing one another and not embracing beef like so many others are. And so I think it's a good moment to highlight.
Hmm.
Um, I thought that was really cool, and it also gave me a moment to put a little bit of dirt on Channing Tatum. You know,
Oh, yep. There you go.
but I had no
Magic Mike.
idea about that actually. I just saw the Lenny Kravitz Walk of Fame stuff and was like, oh, that's really cool. And one of the pictures, it was Tatum, Zoe, and somebody else, and it said in the caption, Zoe Kravitz front row with fiance Channing Tatum, and I was like, hold on, let me. What, what did
Zoe
that say?
and Magic Mike are a thing. Yep.
Huh?
I said Zoe and Magic Mike are a thing.
Look at that. Who would have thought?
That
I had
chiseled,
no idea.
that white chiseled body
White chiseled bodies.
is gonna Channing all over her Tatum.
I'm sure. I'm sure. On that note, let's move on to something else in the Jay-Z universe.
Okay.
Someone legally binded to the Jay-Z universe.
Hmm.
A whole nother universe. The
Oh,
Beyonce universe.
I was so confused for a really long time about who you were talking about, and I was like, "Jay, what? Who? Blue
Hmm.
Ivy?
Yep.
Oh, his wife. Yes,
His wife.
his wife.
Yes.
Rather,
Tell him what his wife has done.
well, Beyonce has let us know that the album will be called Cowboy Carter. Although it was weird because everything I read today was like, we think the album title is Cowboy Carter. But everything she's selling is branded with Cowboy Carter. And what she posted, I mean, she didn't say, hey guys, my album is called Cowboy Carter. But she did all but that. So yeah, it's on the website. She's got merch. Like you could get like little baseball tees and things like that that say Cowboy Carter on it,
Right.
which is exactly what she did when Act 1 was coming out.
Right.
So, yeah, the girls are in a frenzy, and
Twitter is going nuts.
and when I say the girls, I'm actually speaking in a gender neutral way. But the girls
Oh,
are I know that doesn't it makes sense to who it's supposed to make sense to.
that's why I said oh and shut right up.
I like niggas. You just
Right up on that one.
just I'm not talking about a specific, but the girls are in a frenzy, trying to get their things together because they have, you can I believe pre-order the album and
Yes,
pre-order the merch.
yes.
Um so it's been a busy day for Beyonce fans.
The
You know,
Beehive. They are a buzzing, pun
yeah.
intended.
And what is today's date? The 12th. I'm just grateful that she waited until they paid their rent before she
People were posting things about that too. I was on Twitter and people were like, I just paid my rent and I get paid tomorrow and now I gotta give all my money to Beyonce again.
at least the rent was paid. I think that is the
Hey,
important thing here
if
because
the
I
bills are
get
paid, then
so
it's all good.
uncomfortable. I get so uncomfortable when people be online and talk about if I don't pay my rent, I'm gonna get this Beyonce stuff, and I'm like, oh, she's filthy rich, and so is her man, ma'am. Go pay your rent because at the end of the
Right.
day, you're gonna be homeless, and she and her man are
And
still
they
going to
won't
be
be.
filthy rich,
Yes. This is
and
true.
she is not paying your rent.
No. No,
Okay,
they are not. Only J.
so
Cole does that.
I mean, if J. Cole would like to come and pay my rent,
He
okay,
just be, he'd just be
because the
like, yeah,
cost
J.
of
Cole
living
put 3 kids through college. He paid
put
5
me through
people's
college,
rent.
J.
He
Cole.
let a
Okay,
college student live in his house for 2 years, by themselves. He wasn't even there. Like,
I would like to live in J. Cole's house for 2 years
me too.
free. I
But
mean, why
and
not?
without him being there,
All utilities paid.
just live.
Just let me live. I can work from home.
That's it.
So it's fine.
Absolutely. Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But
What else
yeah.
we got on the docket? All right, you want to get to some hate or you want to stick to
Wait,
love?
wait, wait. I'm sorry.
Oh, yes.
Let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Put the car
Yes.
in reverse.
Beep, beep, beep,
Did
beep.
you did you pre-order your Beyonce stuff?
Oh, you know it. 2 copies.
Oh, yep. Two
Yeah.
copies. Yeah.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? One for me and one for you.
Oh, I got one too.
Oh,
Thank
come
you.
on now.
You a
No, I
real
did
one.
not. No, I did not order. I did not pre-order Beyonce's album.
Oh, so you're not a real one, is what you're saying.
No, I'm not. Nor have I never claimed to be.
Cool.
Never claimed to be a beehive her. Never claimed to be part of the beehive. Never claimed to be any of those things. I just,
Mm-hmm.
it's cool. I listen. I pay my Spotify price and then, I listen.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's
She's
fine.
cool. I mean, listen, I came up here and championed the two country records, and I can't wait to hear, this new album, whatever it might or might not be called. But no, I don't purchase. I did not purchase, is what I mean to say.
Okay.
Nah, I pay my rent first. You know what I'm saying?
You got to.
You got to pay the rent first.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You
So
got to make sure you have somewhere to lay your head at night.
you got to put your cowboy hat somewhere.
Just not on the bed. But that's a conversation
Hopefully not.
for
Yeah,
day.
hopefully not. You want to go to More Love, or you want to go to whatever we calling Breezy?
We could talk about Offset. I am just exhausted with Chris Brown, and we'll get to it. But I just need a moment before we talk
No
about.
problem. Hey, listen, you got it. So Offset was on $1 Million Worth of Game, and the relationship between him and Quavo came up, and he addressed it. I won't play it, but he basically said, "It's not y'all business. Y'all feel like I gotta come up here and tell y'all." He said, "And I'm gonna keep it real because I like y'all, and this is somewhere I could be real. But the fans want to know, and every outlet want to know. We really don't need to tell y'all. We have been through real shit together. We were not just a group. And yeah, a lot of groups are." He made comments about how a lot of groups have a weak link. The Migos never had a weak link. They were all him, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And that segued into, the relationship between him and Quavo. He said, I really, really, y'all keep asking me, everyone asks, and we really don't have to tell y'all shit. I'm paraphrasing, that's not an exact quote. But that's what he basically said. He basically said, listen, man, it's not y'all business. We don't have to tell you, nor are we going to tell you. That's it.
I like that. That's how
I love that.
that's how I am with my people. I'm not divulging the squad secrets. I'm not telling you the family business. I just don't I don't like that. I'm very
Mhm.
wary of people who do things like that. I'm not going on a public platform and telling you what happened between me and my family member, because they're family, actual family,
Yep.
blood related.
Yep.
No, I'm not. Or my group mates, for that matter. Like, we in a group together, we broke up. Okay, cool. Y'all
Right.
will never know why. Okay? As
Yeah.
far as y'all know, it was an amicable breakup. It was
That's it.
not, and you can
The
make whatever
weeknights ended on a
inferences.
great note.
Oh, right.
We,
You can
we
make whatever.
decided we were at the top of our game and it was time to work on other projects.
However, people got to say whatever they got to say, but there's never going to be a day where I sell my people out
Right.
for what? For this? For fame? He already got it. He don't need to do anything
Right.
to get clout or have people pay attention to him or anything like that. The very reason that people want to know about him and Quavo is because they're paying attention to him and Quavo. So he did the right thing. Because what the lay people, the people who are on the internet, or the people who are interviewing them, or just anybody outside of their circle, what people don't understand is that what will happen is I come here and I tell our business, and now we can't get back. Like, even if we are broken, now we can't repair what is broken, because now it's not between the two of us anymore.
Right.
I don't know. I think I've said it before. Like, loyalty is paramount to me. Like, I just don't. To me, he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and I would hope that Quavo does the exact same thing.
Yeah, I think that today there is a very privileged society that thinks because we have this instant access via multiple apps and blogs and other outlets, podcasting, etc., that we have to know every gritty detail of every situation. And you may want to know,
But you don't
but
have
it
the right
doesn't
to
mean that you have to know.
that.
We can be curious about all the breakups, all the friendships,
Mhm.
all the groups, all the labels, all the contracts, all the podcasts. Curiosity is cool, but people are not required to give these things to you.
No.
And so if you just say, hey, it ended, that's it, then that's your right to do that. I think that it's up to the people in the situation to decide how much we want to
Mhm.
share, right? Uh,
Right.
Again, I am nobody. I will keep saying that. It's about to be my new AKA. I am nobody, but I have music where I speak about family grievances. But that's my choice and something I do as a form of therapy, right? The music for me is therapeutic, and it's something I felt like I needed to get off my chest when I did it. But I also wasn't the Migos. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was the Migos, maybe y'all would never hear about the breakup. People are always asking these groups, whether it's somebody as small as me or somebody as big as the Migos, what happened? When are y'all going to tell us the truth? When are y'all going to this? When are y'all going to. If they feel like sharing, if they feel like, hey, this is weighing on me and I would like to say something, that's their choice. But it's also their choice to
Mhm.
say nothing at all. And I think he hit it right on the head because people feel like we need to know, we deserve to know, you are obligated to tell us. And the answer is no. We don't have to tell you shit.
Also, you're not a nobody.
Nobody. Come on.
That's such a strong way of. I know what you're trying to say, but whenever you say it, I cringe a little bit because it's just such a strong thing to say.
Oh, well, I also
I
believe we're
just
all
want it.
nobodies. So,
Well, then fine.
and
But
and and let me do a shameless plug
when you
while I'm
say
here.
it, okay,
I got a record called Nobodies coming soon. So, shameless plug. It explains why I think we're all nobodies.
which is
And that's
fine,
not a joke. I really got a record called Nobody's Coming, which you
right?
know that already.
But yes, but which is fine. I'm just saying that before you said that, you were just saying there's a series of episodes where you're just like, I'm a nobody,
Oh yeah,
but
I'm a nobody.
and I just want to be like, you're a somebody because because you are, and I get what you're trying to say. It's just
Yeah,
I don't
I
think I
live.
like the verbiage of that, but I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, listen, I live, I breathe, I feel, I think, sure. But in the grand scheme of things, in the 8, 9 billion people that are on the planet, we're all specks. And so I'm just another speck. That's all. But I say that also because I don't want to come off as holier than thou. A lot of podcasters speak as if they're the big King Kong Godzilla of the realm and everyone is underneath them. I don't think that. I think I'm underneath. I'm down here. There are plenty of people up there in everything that I do as an author, as a podcaster, as a musician, as all type of things, as a son, as a father. There are people way higher on the hierarchy of
As the
greatness.
Holy Spirit.
Sure. You know, I'm my point is I'm simply a speck of dust in the grand scheme of things. And so, sure, I'm not saying I'm worthless, but I think I'm not some Steve Jobs figure either.
Right.
And so I think a lot of podcasters, everything I'm saying, authors, uh musical artists, podcasters, all three of those categories, those there are plenty of those people who come on public platforms and speak as if I'm him, quote unquote, as everyone likes to say now, right? Uh, but I'm not him. I'm just a him. I'm just one of those things floating around the universe like everybody else.
I understand. And I understood what you meant, but you also say it and you don't really give a whole lot of context when you say it. So I'm glad that you elaborated on that today because, you know, there are other people watching this. It's not
Yes,
me. So while I may understand your shorthand, not everyone will.
and
So
that's okay. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too, but I don't like the narrative that you are a nobody. So that
Okay,
is why I had to, say something. But I totally understand what you mean.
thanks.
Um, but yeah, so uh I don't remember what the topic was, to be honest. I forgot.
It was Offset and Quavo
Yeah,
and their relationship not needing to be disclosed to the public.
yeah. I feel like we could close that one out. I mean he said what he said and I do hope, just for what it's worth. I do hope that they are in a better place. If they were in a bad place before, I hope that they're in a better place. And if they're not at the moment, I hope that they find a way to come back together. And I'm not necessarily talking so much about the music because I think that they've been able to maintain their business relationship to some degree because we've seen them perform together and whatnot
Right.
since Takeoff passed away. But just thinking about people that you're close to, and I want that for them to be
Right.
able to get back to a good place. So
Agreed.
so I hope so. I want that for them, and that's really it. Like, go handle your business over there amongst yourselves, and we listen. We don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like what we think and what's going on with y'all don't have one does has nothing to do with the other. So
Agreed. Totally agree with that.
now someone else who wants us to have public discourse about him.
Yep. Let's
It's
talk about Breezy.
Christopher Maurice Brown.
Ooh, you know you're in trouble when they say the whole name. Anytime somebody says the whole name, you probably fucked up.
Like when Dylon was calling Dave Chappelle David Chappelle.
Don't get me
I don't
started
even
on
know.
Diamond.
I don't even know if I still don't know. I meant to look it up. I still don't know if Dave Chappelle's name is really David. But anyway,
Yeah, but there
um,
was no need for that. But let me read this first, and then you can
all right.
sound off. So Chris Brown said, uh, in a post, I don't want to be accepted from none of the mainstream media and fake celebrities. I am king in my own lane. Your fave ain't got shit on me, and they know it. Ain't finna tap dance for approval. You will beg for forgiveness of me. That I do know. That was a couple days ago. And then after that, he said one more thing. He said, there will never be another Chris Brown. Don't wait till I'm gone to realize that. Sound off.
Here's the problem. Chris Brown. Chris Brown does the very thing he says he doesn't want, and that's what irritates the shit out of me. You're coming to the public. You're standing up and you're raising your hand and you're saying, "Hey, I don't give a fuck about what you guys think of me." But you do. You do. And here's my thing. I'm
What's your
not
thing?
even mad if you do. If you
Okay.
do, stand in it.
Okay.
Because you can't one week say, "Oh, you guys don't want to invite me to the. You want to downgrade my invite to the function, the
Celebrity All
NBA
Star game.
function."
The Celebrity All Star game.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to say the long thing. So I said the
Oh,
function.
my bad.
But you were upset about that, and you were publicly upset about that. And we even found common ground with you when you said that. But then weeks later, literal weeks later, because it hasn't been that long. It's been what, 2 weeks?
I think 3, but still weeks later.
Barely
Even if it was a
3.
month later, it's still weeks later.
Barely 3. Now you don't care about nothing. Now you don't care about people paying attention to you or people, giving you your just due because you a legend in your own right and all of that, and that's fine. That's fine. It's totally fine for you to decide that I don't feel like I'm getting what I want out of this, right? Or I'm not ever going to get out of this what, the average person in my shoes gets out of it. And I see that and I accept that, but it doesn't matter because I'm still selling out shows. I'm still going on tour. I'm still creating music that people get excited about. I told y'all, I came on here and I said, I went on TikTok the one day that he announced his tour, and I don't know where all the videos came from, but I got tons and tons of videos in my feed of people talking about how excited they were that he was going on tour. It's not that Chris Brown doesn't have a fan base. It's not that no one pays attention to Chris Brown. It's nothing like that. And sometimes it just feels like a little kid having a tantrum. And it's frustrating to me because it's like, okay, we got to find the middle ground between you doing really fucked up shit to women and us having to reckon with that and the fact that you're super fucking talented. Where's the middle? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of it as someone who really believes in his ability and who really thinks that he is that talented and thinks that had he not done a whole lot of nonsense, over the years, especially the big one, but all of it, put all of it together, had you not done all of that, then maybe you would be somewhere different. Maybe you would be revered in a different way. But we have to accept, we all have to accept that Chris Brown is different in the sense that he's not going to get what everybody's going to get. And he keep coming back and telling us he don't give a fuck about that. That's a lie. This shit started when you were what, 19 years old or something like that. You need to go to therapy and deal with this shit because it's still sitting on him. It's still there. It's still plaguing him. And it's very obvious. And he's a grown man in his 30s and needs to deal with it. So that we don't have to deal with every couple of weeks, we got to deal with him saying, I don't give a fuck what y'all think about me. Yes, yes, you do. And you know what? You're an artist. It's okay for you to be a little sensitive about the way people feel about you. That's fine. I'm not mad at his emotions. I'm not mad that he has emotions. I'm not mad that he feels like his career has taken a turn that he didn't expect for himself. But it's also been 2 decades, and you need to at some point, at some point, it's you need to remind, because you keep coming back and telling us, and we know. We've said it. People have bought the concert tickets. People still argue down for you. Even though maybe some people, a lot of people don't think they should. People still defend Chris Brown to this day. And I feel like just go. I appreciate him so much more when he's sitting down and being quiet. And I'm actually really surprised because he's on tour right now, and I don't understand why he has time to tweet or post
Listen,
to his Insta stories.
it's 24 hours in a day. He's got plenty of time to.
That nigga needs some sleep. He be dancing and flipping all over the stage. He needs to go to bed when he's done. He don't need to be worried about what people on the internet are doing. I get that it gets uncomfortable and weird around awards season, especially, but he gotta deal with the stuff that's still sitting on his back. He really gotta deal with it.
I didn't know if you was done. Is that it, or is that a dramatic pause?
I'm done.
Oh, okay. Listen,
That's
as
a
you was
lot.
going, listen. When you going off, I don't want to interrupt. You know what I'm saying? I want to let my co-host shine. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
No problem, Bob. You know what I mean? Got to get your shit off. I want to make sure you have the freedom and the space to do so. I do have a question. Is okay? Do you think? And I don't know. I'm genuinely asking. This is not a setup.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that he's complaining and saying he does want these things, or do you think it's that he's calling out the other people's bad behavior because his is constantly called out?
Is that what he's doing?
I'm asking you a question. I'm asking, like, the NBA in the example you brought up is an example of him calling out their bad behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm asking, do you think that it's him complaining that he's not being treated fairly, and you made the case that he does care about the acceptance and the validity from others. And so I'm asking, do you think that's what it truly is, or do you think that this is him trying to kind of even the playing field because his bad behavior is constantly called out?
With the NBA thing specifically?
And there's some other examples of that as well.
I mean, I think with the
Like
NBA,
the Michael Jackson tribute that he was supposed to do, and we saw snippets of the rehearsal.
right?
He
So,
he was scheduled, and everything was in his mind lined up and looking good, and then they pulled out at the last second. Very similar with the NBA.
so, and I don't think this is a contradiction. I do think that people have done some messed up things to Chris Brown around his reputation. I think that's true.
Okay.
I think that anybody who got invited to be a part of a basketball game, and then somebody goes back to them and tells them, sorry, you can't play the basketball game, but you can sit in the bleachers. Or they're
No,
not
no,
bleachers.
front row.
Or you can sit in the audience. I think that's messed up. I don't I think asking someone to perform and they start to gather their things and prepare to perform at a show, and then coming back and telling them that they can't perform because again it's behind this thing or this reputation that he has, I think is messed up. But I think that multiple things can be true.
Hmm.
I'm not really mad at him for calling things out, because I think the way the NBA handled what happened sucks. I don't know if there was another way to handle it, to be honest. I don't know what the right way to handle that is. Because, and we had the whole advertising conversation, but I don't, I don't see, I don't see the NBA going back to the advertiser and telling them, no, we're going to fight for the talent.
Right.
That's not really how that works. It
No.
works in the other way. It's it's very commonplace for an advertiser to say, I don't like this, and for wherever they're putting their ads, whatever organization that is, to say, okay, let's figure out how to make this work. That's how you make money. That's not.
Right.
So Chris Brown wasn't going to win in that situation. I'm aware of that. Do I think it's messed up though? Yes, I do. Because I'm just thinking about me. Imagine being invited. I mean, I feel like this has happened. This is like a common thing that has happened to probably a lot of people. Not that, but you ever been invited somewhere and then disinvited? Doesn't
It's not
feel
a good
good when it
feeling.
happens.
Right.
Right. So it's messed up. But I don't know what their alternative would have been. Because the alternative is not to fight for the guy who we know uh, beat one of our beloved singers, pop stars. That's not the alternative. So I say all that to say I think multiple things are happening here. I think yes, I think he calls other people out because it's kind of like y'all have a lot to say about me, so I'm gonna say something about you. Yes, I think that is definitely at play here. But
Okay.
I also think that, and I don't know if somebody said something about Chris Brown for him to make that first post.
Me either.
I don't, to my knowledge, nothing specific happened.
Yeah, same. I didn't see anything that said that the video was reactionary. I just saw that this is what he said.
Right. And my response to it not being reactionary is, what do you want?
Hmm.
What is this supposed, how is this supposed to function? What is this supposed to do for you, your mental health? What is it doing for your fans? What is it? Am I looking too deeply into it? Is it all, reverse psychology? Is it like, he's coming out and he's making noise so that people could change their minds? I don't know. Like I don't know what the end game is, but it feels personal usually from
Okay.
him. And that's what makes me say, go deal with your shit, because your self acceptance here is important. Because, like I said, we are all still, I don't know why, but we are all still trying to find that middle ground between what he's done and how talented he is and how much we could support him versus how much we have to be like, well, this is not cool, or, you know, we're all still reckoning with that. He doesn't help the situation when he does these like weird public things that he does.
And that's kind of where it's at for me. And I said this on a shameless plug again. I said this on an upcoming episode of Man Cave. But I think that Chris Brown has made a lot of decisions in his career without considering brand and how his brand will be affected. And I think today that is starting to come out more and more. Um, and I'm not speaking specifically about Rihanna. I'm not speaking specifically about women. I mean, as a whole, I
Yeah.
think over many years, he's made a lot of bad decisions where
Hmm.
people can publicly see bad behavior of one kind or another. And I
Hmm.
think that that has affected his brand in a lot of ways that he was not considering when he made those decisions. Whether that was the Rihanna incident, whether that was throwing a bottle at someone in a club, whether that was stealing an artist's work and then making fun of them publicly, whatever. I think that there are many examples that are still recent where
Remember
we can.
Robert Glasper? Was it Robert Glasper? You remember that? We covered
No,
that.
didn't we
No.
cover Usher? Oh, when he said he didn't know who Robert Glasper was?
He was like, "Who the fuck is this?" or something, and it was like,
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. We did cover that. Um, I think he's just made a lot of bad decisions, and I think today his brand is being affected more and more by those decisions, because they've been so public.
yeah,
Um, and that's I'm speaking about public things we have seen. I'm not even talking about allegations, which is a whole other rabbit hole. And I think today that is affecting Chris Brown's brand in a big way. And I think what Chris Brown needs to start doing, and I think these posts are more of the same uh, public behavior. I think what Chris Brown should start doing is considering his brand and where he wants his brand and legacy to be moving forward. Because it doesn't say that he can't make changes, but as you continue to do bad behavior publicly, as people continue to see bad behavior publicly, well, then, yeah, people are not going to want to give you the shine. People are not going to want to put a crown on your head. People are not going to want to offer you big opportunities, regardless of how big your fan base is or is not, regardless of how many tours you sell out or not. And just look at all the struggles that Kanye has as a prime example of that. A very different brand with very different behavior. But the point is, look at
yeah,
the struggles that Kanye has had booking venues, letting his music getting his music distributed, the battles with Adidas, all of these things. It's similar, although the details are different.
yeah. I, I want better for him, um, just because he is a part and of the culture, and
Right.
he's also an artist that, I mean, we can't be that far in age from Chris Brown, give or
No.
take a year or two,
Yeah,
and
I'm
so
about to say the same thing.
in a lot of ways, like when it comes to certain artists, at least for me, I don't know how you feel about this, but at least for me, when it comes to certain artists, I remember when being young when they first came out, and it's
Yeah,
almost like, I think I've said it before too. It's like we were all kind of growing up at the same time. It's
absolutely.
just that some of us evolved and others maybe didn't as much, right? Like,
Right.
you know, so and that happens when you start out so young. When you often, we find that people get stunted in some ways because they live in this bubble, they exist in this bubble, and they
Mhm.
can't necessarily, they don't see the world the way us normies see the world, so us nobodies. So
Exactly.
so yeah, that's why I keep coming back to the idea that perhaps he needs to reckon with everything. And I'm not just talking about the initial thing, right? I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about uh, all the things you listed too that are far more recent
Yeah,
than some of the other stuff. He's got to deal with that, like, because to me, I wouldn't even be coming out and saying, and maybe he read something about himself or something, I don't know. But I wouldn't even be coming out and saying, I don't care about no this, and I don't care about no Grammy. I don't care about, to what end? I'm always confused by that conversation because he's not the only artist who does it. There's plenty of artists who come out and say, it's fine if somebody asked you. It's fine if you were being interviewed, but there are plenty of artists that come out and say things that we didn't ask them for. Man, fuck the Grammys. But you didn't even have an album that was up for consideration this year.
Right.
So what is so he's not the only one who does this, but it's like, okay, we live in a time where we can like you and we can support you without them.
And he's
Maybe,
proof of it.
right. And maybe that wasn't always the case, but the fact that Chris Brown came up when he did is the reason he still has a career today.
And he has a long-standing career, and he's still immensely talented.
Right.
Immensely talented. I mean, I can't paint
Right.
with a brush, let alone my feet.
Chris Brown, I've said this before. Chris Brown can literally do anything.
I
It
agree.
is the weirdest thing. It is
Super fly.
annoying to think about sometimes. But he can do anything. Just and I this is not to this is just do your homework. If you don't understand what I'm saying, if what I'm saying doesn't resonate with you, then it means you need to do your homework about his skill level when it comes to all things.
Right.
Because it is not just that he can make music effectively. It is not just that he could paint.
Right.
It's not just that he can play basketball. He is an immensely talented human
Yeah.
being. He is, some would argue, some of the
He's
things
somebody.
that he's good at, he's uh, of another world. Like the amount of talent he has
Yeah.
that people don't talk about and people don't discuss.
Right.
He is hugely, hugely, hugely talented. Forget the music. Forget the career itself. But just think about things that people are good at.
Right.
He is a hugely talented person. So I don't want this to come off, anything I said to come off like I don't see his talent, like I don't see what he is worth when it comes to talent. But we
But
gotta
you sick of his shit.
I'm sick of his shit. I really am. Cause he publicly behaves badly, even if it's like little things. Like this is not little, but like think about the Robert Glasper thing. That's probably small compared to some of the other stuff he's done. But it's like,
Yeah.
just shut up.
Yes.
Just. But again, he wouldn't have even been able to say anything about Robert Glasper if he wasn't paying attention to the Grammy stuff.
Yeah. I feel you,
So
Claire.
that's what I got.
And that's what we got.
Yep.
We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Thank you for tuning in. This was Weeknights.
Goodbye.